Now Israel remained in the acacia grove, and the people began to commit harlotry with the women of Moab. They invited the people to the sacrifices of their gods, and the people ate and bowed down to their gods. So Israel was joined to Baal of Peor, and the anger of the Lord was aroused against Israel. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Take all the leaders of the people, and hang the offenders before the Lord out in the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may turn away from Israel." So Moses said to the judges of Israel, "Every one of you kill his men who were joined to Baal of Peor." And indeed, one of the children of Israel came and presented to his brethren a Midianite woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Now when Phinehas the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her body. So the plague was stopped among the children of Israel, and those who died in the plague were 24,000.
As we continue to look at our truth's heroes, bold men, courageous men who did what was right, even in the face of difficulty and being outnumbered, being in the minority, these men had courage. The men we're going to look at today, and we need men with courage today. That's why I'm bringing this up. The man we're going to look at today is just a man with flesh and blood like you, like me. His name is Phinehas, or in the American, Phinehas. But Phinehas was a man who did what was right. And there are three principles that I want to draw from this story from Numbers 25 that speak about doing what is right. First of all, to do what is right, you have to know what is right. Phinehas knew the law that said that this was what many of the Israelites were doing, presumably the young men, in going to chase after and lust after and whore after, to use the biblical language, these Moabite women that would lead them astray to worshiping false gods because they were giving these young men what they wanted, presumably sexually. Phinehas knew the law, that this was prohibited, that a foreign woman, a Midianite woman, was not clean for the Israelite man to take as his wife. And so to know what is right is the first step to doing what is right. So young men, people, study the Word of God, know your convictions, know where you stand, know your boundaries, know God's boundaries, and let that be the first step in then doing what is right. Second principle here is not only do we have to know what is right, we have to be on the alert. We have to be on the alert in both ways, in discerning what is right in the actions of others as leaders. And second of all, we have to, on the other hand, we also have to be discerning of what and be on the alert for what is wrong, what is evil. That is what is required of men. That is what is required of us as husbands of our wives, as fathers of our children, as leaders in the church, as leaders in society. We have to be on the alert to protect against to protect what is right. We have to protect it. If we don't protect it, it's going to be taken from us by sinful and wicked men. So Phinehas was on the alert. He did not buy the lie that so many men have bought over the years, which is, well, these people really aren't bothering me. I'm going to let them do what they do. I'm going to do me. Phinehas could have done that. I mean, he was standing in the congregation of leaders, weeping and crying out to God, asking God to intervene. great stuff to do, of course. But this practice had been going on for so long, of these young men whoring after the Midianite women, that it required men to be on the alert. Okay, we know this is wrong. We've spoken about it being wrong. We're pleading to God that this is wrong. This is affecting me. This is affecting the community. What they're doing has brought a plague upon the people. And we read at the end of this account that 24,000 Israelites were killed because of this plague, because of God's plague. And so what I'm trying to say is be on the alert. Be on the alert. Be ready. Be ready for action. Be prepared to act. Don't be caught unprepared. Phinehas was prepared, as we'll see in the last point. Point number 3, men, we have to be able to discern the time for action. Know what is right, be on the alert, be prepared, and discern when action is required. We can't get to the action part unless you've done the other 2 parts. That's what we see in this story of Phinehas. Phinehas he discerned the right time for action. He left his time of prayer. He left his time of standing with the elders as this brazen, bold, determinedly rebellious man walks straight by them as they're weeping and crying out to God, God, stop this plague. Stop what these men are doing, and taking these Midianite women back to their tents. And Phinehas saw this man. He knew it was right. He was on the alert for it. And he saw this man brazenly walk right by the congregation, go straight into his tent, and Phinehas discerned, now's the time for action. Now is the time when I must act against this brazen sinfulness. And so Phinehas grabs his spear. We know the story. He walks, he walks, he runs, he follows them into the tent, and whoosh, takes action by killing these 2 people. He was practicing the law exactly as it was written, as we see in Deuteronomy and other places of the Mosaic law, that such people must be killed, because sin cannot be allowed to ruminate. Sin cannot be allowed to flourish. So Phinehas discerned the proper time for action, and he did it. Now the key word here is discern. Courage is a virtue. We want to be courageous. In the face of fear, we need to be able to act and realize there's something greater than fear that can drive us here to do what is right. But courage can also, we can also fall off the horse on both sides, so to speak, as Luther said. On the one hand, we can be so fearful, lack so much courage that we don't do anything. Okay, Phinehas did something, so we know he's not there. On the other hand, our what we might call courage is actually not courage. It's unwise. It is foolish. It's foolish, and that is saying, there's something to be afraid of here, but no, I'm just going to plow ahead. You know what? That's just foolish. So we have to be able to gauge and discern what is the proper course of action. I want to be in the middle. I want to be courageous, but I want to know that I'm acting in the right time and not the wrong time. The author of Ecclesiastes says that there is a time for everything, and we need to pray that we will be able to discern the time and know how we are to act. Phinehas did that here. He discerned the time. He saw the time was for action. This brazen rebellion cannot continue. And so finally, drawing our final conclusions from this story of Phinehas, men, understand today that the battle lines are clearly drawn. They're clearly drawn. If we just open our eyes, we can see they're clearly drawn, even more clearly drawn than from 40 years ago. I'm 37 years old. They're more clearly drawn even the time when when a lot of us were kids. There is real apostasy. There is real idolatry. There is real sin, brazen sin. There are real problems because of sin in our society, in our homes. There are real temptations to fight against, to guard against. And we need to know what is right. So study the word, pray, seek the knowledge of God in your life. Be on the alert and discern when it is that we must act. Leaders must act. We are called to act. We must act. And since these lines are so clearly drawn, and we know that there's really no middle ground anymore. There's really not in our fallen society. It's kind of like you're either with Moses or you're not with Moses. You are either taking a Midianite home and whoring after her, or you are standing before the tent of meeting, asking God to intervene and stop the madness. The lines are very clearly drawn. There are very few people in the middle anymore. So, know what is right. Be on the alert. Discern when it is the time for action. Discern when it is the time to pick up your spear, your proverbial spear, and speak up. And discern the time when it is proper that we pick up the stretcher to take away the wounded and to heal the wounded. Discern the time. We'll discern that that's the time for this video to end. God bless. Live boldly.